Hey, hey, mister. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everyone. Tell me if you hear me. Are you hearing me? I'm talking, but I don't know if anybody hearing me. I'm not going to say anything. Are you hearing me? Somebody answer me now. Are you hearing me clearly? Are you hearing me? Are you... Yes, you are hearing me. Yes. You know why that was important? Because Michelle get me a fancy mic and she said I must just plug it in and it will work. So you're hearing me. That is great. How you all doing? Everybody good? Let's say good night to some people. Kevin Blake. Elaine Wilson, good night, my darling. Good night, good night. Loud and clear. Because I have new mic. I have a new mic. Look at me, YouTubing with a mic. As if I'm a professional YouTuber, which I am not. So good night, Richard. Wayne Wallace. Wayne Wallace. Good night, my brother. Tina. Good night, sweetie. Good night, good night, good night. Good night, one and all. Good night, all of you. How you doing? Yeah? Yeah, we have a song, but we are getting the song yet. We're starting the song. We can go and practice the song because the song we're going to sing tonight is I Must Tell Jesus. And I'm going to tell you why we're going to be singing that song. So let's get into it. Last night, I went to the Labor Day concert. Now, I can recall some years ago, I went to a Labor Day concert on the lawns of Jamaica House. But it wasn't those praise and worship thing. So this thing that Minister Grange have introduced to make Labor Day concert be a praise and worship thing, kind of clicking up, working the day, Labor Day, we labor, we work, we drink rum, we go with all kind of things. And then, yes, I'm on my live, all right? I'm on the live. So, coming to people. So, you work, you labor, you give thanks. And that praise and worship concert, it is something to remember. It was a great concert. Really, really great concert. And I truly, truly enjoyed myself. While on my way in, I met a host of fans. And I really don't want to get into the name calling, but Robert, the guys who was selling the soup, the guy was the next one beside you who was doing the pan chicken, never get his name. All the people doing the models, doing the vendors. But all the people who hugs and kisses and greetings, it was absolutely my pleasure to have met you all. And as I said, I'm not mentioning no names. I got some names, I didn't get some. But I also want to say a special good night and hello to Terry Salmon, whom I met last night as well. We sat together. We're enjoying the show together. It was indeed a wonderful night at Praise and Worship. And there were some great artists at Praise and Worship. Great artists. Some I've never heard before, some I never heard of yet, ever in my life. Good night, everybody. Remember to share the live and to like it. Share it to a friend. Please pass it around. Share it to anybody you know in South St. James, some of the place. And if all the people want to know the IC people, I'm share it to them for me. You know? share the live for me, please. Share it to all them people there. Prodigal Son, who was billed as one of the main performer for the night, and tear on the place in his own way. because, it's a concert and a performance. Really tear down the place. The thing about Prodigal Son that I admire, I am not saying that I totally enjoy his brand of gospel music, because I don't. But it's a good brand and lots of people love it. It's just not my thing, but I love it. And I love Prodigal Son. I love his philosophy based on what he's saying. But the thing that he did last night that got me and need for me to tell you about is the fact that while he was performing and doing the thing, Prodigal Son brought on two unknown entertainers. People we have never heard of. I'm sure not even the people in the audience have met those two young fellows. And them perform for God, man. Those two young fellows, they perform for God. But the thing is, it is very heartwarming and very good to see that an established artist is giving a leg up to two unknown. It is a wonderful thing to see. And politicians will take note. Yeah, man, and other entertainers will take note. Because what I think Prodigal Son have figured out and is that at some point he will fade. And at some point he will be gone, and he want other people to left behind to say that he gave them a leg up. And that is what you call legacy, which is very, very important. Very, very legacy is one of the most important things in a person's life, because once you are gone, the only thing that people have left is your history, and whatever that legacy is going to define you, no matter what else you did that nobody knew about. So what Prodigal Son did is absolutely wonderful, and I love it. I love it, and I want to big him up for it, and I'm hoping to make his album launch June something or another. Terry, if you want, we all can go by and say, now these are unknown talents that Prodigal Son lifted up, because he need people to carry on. And the politicians, they must behave the same way. Lift other people up, train some other people, bring on some other people, so that you have a legacy. The other one that I enjoyed, but of all the entertainers, and they are entertainers, all of them, they are people who give their voices and their performances to God. I am not saying that there are people who have given their hearts to God. I don't know that. But they have given their voices and they have established their own way of worshiping God. And that's a good thing. There's no one way of worshiping God. There's no one way of showing God that you love him. There's no one way of being a good Christian. There are many ways. And these entertainers have demonstrated that without a shadow of a doubt. The two performances that I enjoy the most, and I'm going to tell you why I enjoy those most. The last one is a gentleman named Jabez. I hope I pronounce it properly. Flew in from Florida for the show. So I enjoyed Jabez very, very, very much. Soon tell you why. And I enjoyed an impressive young fellow by the name of Sebastian Braham. Why did I enjoy Sebastian and Jabez so much? And if you have never heard Jabez and if you have never heard Sebastian, you ought to seek him out. And you have to ask your church to invite him to let him come. All the entertainers came with their various modus of operandi in terms of how they perform and what message they want to give out and what their image is. It was performance. But Jabez and Sebastian, they brought Jesus. They brought Jesus. Jabez brought Jesus in Emancipation Park, packed and overflowing Emancipation Park, a very packed and enjoyable scene of Jamaicans just out there, the dancers, them out in front. Everybody. But Jabez, Sebastian, they brought Jesus. When those two guys performed, they were not only doing it because of a performance or because they were hired to do it and getting paid for doing it. They brought Jesus. And Jesus came. And oh, what a wonderful night we had. It was a wonderful, wonderful night. And I want to congratulate Minister Babsy Grange for her steady leadership in this department. You see, this is part of the legacy, Mrs. Grange. This is part of the legacy. But the other part is also training and sending out other people like Carencia. I mean, she should have done it beside you. I was kind of disappointed that I didn't see her there beside you. It would have been great for you and your junior minister walk into the concert and share the glory, and the praises would have been yours. All of it would still have been yours because I'm under no Carencia. So it wouldn't have been a big deal for you to carry her. So Carencia come to her because Carencia is a woman that when she bring Holy Ghost music, she should bring it. So I mean, she would have enjoyed something like that to sit down beside you and enjoy the music. Nobody would be praising Carencia. So she wouldn't be taking any of your flowers from you, Minister Green. All the flowers that I gave out last night was yours. Everybody, including me. It's yours. You put such a wonderful thing together. But you're still holding back to create the legacy, to make the legacy continuous, to add something else to it, to lift it up a little higher. So I was disappointed about that. Really, really disappointed that Carencia didn't show up and all of that. But Jabez and Sebastian Braham, they were talking to Jesus. Jesus was talking to them. And there was two songs that came out of that concert that got me. I don't remember who sang them, so don't ask. I really don't know. Maybe somebody was singing a medley of songs, and one of the songs that came up in that medley of songs is I Must Tell Jesus. I must tell Jesus all of my troubles. And believe me when I tell you this, because I wasn't doing the whole dancing thing like everybody else. I was just there, hanging out with Jesus, hanging out with Prodigal Son, hanging out with Jabez, hanging out with Mr. Wiggum and his wife. And there is the group that opened the concert, the Unity Singers, I think them name. A wonderful group of young people. Absolutely wonderful group of young people. They carry the energy, they carry the power, and you can see it on them that they are carrying Jesus. You have no idea how great that was to observe, to look, to see that. It was indeed a wonderful presentation, Minister Grange. But still, Carencia should have come. And I'd love to see Minister Grange and Carencia do something together. I mean, the country could really benefit from something like that because people still are griping about it. And I am griping about it. I speak for nobody else. I gripe about it. I gripe about it because Minister Grange's contribution to this country is very, very important to me. Because we have never had a minister of sport and entertainment. Let's forget about gender thing. Sport and entertainment that brought so much richness to our culture like Babsy Grange. Never ever. I am dead serious. The professionalism of it all is just by itself. None other. And I'm not joking. Everything was always chaotic. When you go to the national arena or the national stadium, there's an organization flowing. There's a whole heap of young people doing a whole heap of things. And the thing is high class standard. High class. So yeah, I like that. I like that very much. But I also want the junior minister to be out there because the junior minister can only enhance the thing. Nothing else. She can't do nothing else to it. Nobody know her. I mean, no disrespect to your currency, but nobody really know you. JLP people know you. But the country don't know currency. Minister Grange, it is up to you to get currency out there and introduce her to the people. That is part of your legacy. That is part of when the history is written. That is it. What you left behind, like what Prodigal Son did, brought on two unknown young fellows, belting down the place with Jesus, and nobody could escape. No, I mean, nobody in Emancipation Park and anywhere in the earshot of Emancipation Park could escape Jesus last night. Nobody. I stayed to the end. I did. It was wonderful. And I want to be God minister. So, the song, I Must Tell Jesus. Why did that song get me? As soon as I hear the song, it's like I sat there, as soon as I hear the song, I start thinking to myself, when was the last time I tell Jesus anything? Because I mean, we pray. I pray. I am not a conventional prayer person. I'm not a conventional prayer. I talk to God. And I feel I have the standing and the right to talk to my God, who made me, who looked after me, who, bring me, when God is going to lift you up, He always carry you through a host of things first to take you down. And then when He take you back up, I've witnessed the goodness of God. So I can talk to God my own way. And from time to time, I remind God of things because He's my God. I worship Him. I honor Him. I bless His name. I love Him. But from time to time, I have to remind Him about some things and ask Him some questions. But when last did I really tell Jesus anything? That's what I thought to myself. When last? A heartfelt prayer. There was a movie. There's also a movie. Bruce Almighty, Morgan Freeman, Jim Carrey. Now here's Carrey playing this news reporter, a man in a newsroom, and him think that God is against him. Him think him whole life falling apart and it's God's fault. So him walk around and him blame. Now Morgan Freeman has played God twice. Or more than twice, because after Bruce Almighty, there was Evan Almighty, who was playing Noah. So I'm not a Jim Carrey fan, but I'm a Morgan Freeman fan. I love Morgan Freeman. But in Bruce Almighty, him complaining about God. Constantly complaining that God not doing nothing. God looking after everybody except him. And then God paid him a visit. And God said to him, I'm going to give you my job for a week. Just to show you how hard this is. Share the life, people who are not sharing the life. And God said, I'm going to give you all my powers for 1 week. It is a funny movie, because Jim Carrey can't do nothing serious. And so God gave him his power for 1 week. And him run amok with God's power for the 1 week, walking on the sea and getting coffee from Brazil train window and changing off in clothes and wish up him new car and all kinds of things. Then, I think it's Jennifer Aniston played his girlfriend in that movie. Yeah, Jennifer Aniston. He loves her, she loved him. And he got into an accident. And she was miserable because of all of the antics where him going with. And God visited him in the hospital after the accident. And God said to him, pray, Bruce, you must just pray. Pray. And he held on to that thing that she gave him. And he prayed with his eyes wide open, crushed up and bruised up, damaged up. And him look at God and him said, I just want her to be happy. I want to be the best version of myself that she can be happy in my space. And God looked at him and said, oh, that's a prayer. That's a prayer. So when last you tell Jesus something, when last you sit down and say, Jesus, get up in the morning. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you for waking up. Thank you, Lord, for everything that is about to happen for me today. Whatever it is that's not supposed to happen and it still happen, I trust that you will take care of it. So me now worry about it. But when I say tell Jesus something, tell him something, really. Just sit down and say, Jesus, say. Remember, him know everything already. I used to take it, make a song. When I pray and pray for people and my community and things that don't have anything to do with me, I've never told Jesus anything for a long while. I can't recall telling Jesus something. I can't recall it. So this morning I got up and I sat down in this very chair and put my feet on the bed and start tell Jesus some stuff. Stuff that he would already know. But the beauty about that, the great thing about that, the feeling about that is knowing that you tell him. Telling him and know that him listening. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the song. I must tell Jesus. Come on, people, sing. All of my troubles. I'm singing. I cannot bear my burden alone. In my distress, I cry to my Savior. Jesus will help me. Oh, Jesus alone. Everybody know. I must tell Jesus. I must tell Jesus. Lord, I cannot bear my burden alone. Sing it, man. I must tell Jesus. Oh, yes, I must tell Jesus. Lord, I cannot bear my burden alone. Lord, I cannot bear my burden alone. In my distress, I cry to the Savior. 'Cause Jesus will help me. Oh, yes. Jesus alone. One more time. I must tell Jesus. I must tell Jesus. Lord, I cannot bear these burdens alone. And I must tell Jesus. I must tell Jesus. Lord, I cannot bear this burden alone. Tell Jesus something. Anything. Let's tell Jesus something. Say amen. Everybody say amen. 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 Now? Amen. Everybody give Jesus a round of applause. And while you're at it, give Minister Grange a round of applause and all the performers there. Labor Day concert was a smash hit. It was, you know. So, you know, last week, one day, the little people them dress up and have career day. Little police, little soldier, little teacher, little doctor, little fireman in a whip of fireman gear. And did you see them? Oh, wonderful them look. Did you see them? Jesus have mercy. The little people there, the little doctor, the little nurse, the whole heaps of little fireman. I mean, the parents who support the behavior of the opposition in the parliament use career day And tell me if you now follow the program that is set for you and your children in school. Tell me. You see all the little policeman them? A whole heap of little police. I've never seen so much little people in policeman clothes. Blue suit, the regular one, the constable ones. I mean, and then there is this video with a little people, female police officer arresting a little people police officer and him handcuff and she hold him and carry him up and him a ball him a ball is a female officer arrest him and handcuff him and him a ball. And him stand up there and ball and him ball and him off and him puff. And meanwhile, him gonna off and puff, she just stand up so. Looking like a real female police officer. It's the realest thing I've seen so far that look at people dress up there. And then, time for her to lead him away now. She hold on again on his hand or in the back and lead him away. Well, lock him up. He's going to lock up his little ass. I don't know what face to let him do, but he must have done something. Forgive me. Forgive me, but the little people there, they're a genius, man. And all of you parents that support the PNP and went out of the way. Because I know the rush was about here, so too, trust me. The rush, because while you can get the little people, some people make them, and sell them. But everybody was busy at the dressmaker for the whole time trying to get little people. So, why is that? Because it's part of the school curriculum. It's part of the rules. It's part of the curriculum. Career day. And I want you parents who went so all out to support that curriculum, to demonstrate that you are in support of the curriculum. And even if you are not in support of it, you demonstrate that you're following the curriculum by dressing up the kids in them, whatever it is they want to be, and send them out to school on career day. And then, when you think of that, equate it to the behavior of the opposition parliamentarians about the rules, what they signed up for. Equate it, because when I saw those little people, I knew that, and I know Jamaica is in great hands. And we're not ever shot at police. Not ever. Police woman lock up like a police boy. Police girl lock up police boy. No. Think about that, you parents who believe that it's funny and supporting the disgraceful behavior of people in our parliament. Think about that. Just let that sit with you for a minute. How many run up and down to meet a deadline at school for something? You probably owe $50 at the canteen. And you have until Friday to pay. You're going to look the $50. And if you don't have the $50, you're going to school to explain so you don't get the $50 yet. Equate all of that to the behavior of the people that unelected. Because the PNP, MP, the people that PNP people elected. Equate all of that and then tell me this. All of that, your diatedness and your PNP-ness surpasses that. Because it's the same thing, There's no difference. There's an institution that you have an obligation to your children and that institution. It is expected based on what you fill out that form for and how you sign up the children. Everything is expected to be carried out the way that you agreed as a parent, because you agreed. And you went all out to get firemen uniform and policemen and policewomen uniform to fulfill a part of the school curriculum. It's fun for the kids, especially if the teachers really working it to tell them that you truly can become a policeman, but you got to settle down. You have to settle down if you want to become a policeman, because you can't just you see, going to school, and if you drop out of school, if you go smoke ganja, if you go do all kind of things, if you go get pregnant, you can't become a policeman, because all of that will stop you, and you will probably take longer to start over. If we can get that done, then we'll be on our way. But when I saw that video, several videos of the local people, them parading themselves all over the place, pretending to be policemen and policewomen and soldiers and doctors and lawyers. Maybe there were some Indians and chiefs, I don't know. When you see them parading themselves, I couldn't help but thinking about that and make that, connection to what you do as parents and what you're expected to do for the sake of your children. And yet, you on the other side supporting bad behavior from adults that you elected. And I want to tell you that tonight. So just let you sit on it and think it through. Because I have hopes, all of you diehard PMP, we're PMP, and all of those who come out defending the bad behavior. And if you don't see the dynamic between your kids at school and that, nobody can help you. Nobody can help you. And that will be that. Now today, the Honorable Prime Minister today officially opened and the dedication of the Ministry of Labour building in the name of Portia Simpson Miller. It's a great thing. But today was a day that the Honorable Prime Minister basically let down Mark Golden flat with a whole heap of big stone. Big stone now a Ministry of Labour, and when him announce something, another big stone. Mark Golden had so much of him left before the thing done. Same of an appointment. And him have no appointment. Believe me, I tell you, he had no appointment. Him just couldn't stand it that the Prime Minister was standing in front of the building and dedicating it to a former Prime Minister, our first female Prime Minister, Portia Lucretia Simpson Miller. And let me tell you first about the Prime Minister's speech before I tell you about what Mark Golden was trying to do. The Prime Minister's speech was that of a young Andrew Holness sitting beside Portia Simpson Miller. Of a young Andrew Holness, when Portia hold him face in her hand. Or when a young Andrew Holness and Portia said, he's my son and don't trouble him. Have him back. A young Andrew Holness behind the suit and behind the power of being Prime Minister. Everything that he was saying, he was thinking about a moment with him and Portia. Don't ask me how I know that. I don't know how I know these things. I'm trying to find out. But he could not have said those things, even though most of it was written, without thinking about his moments with Portia Simpson Miller. All the moments that some of us have never seen, but it exists. I know he said that he spoke to Mr. Miller. And that, you see, Every time something like this happens, the only place we need to go with it is up. That's all. That's the only place we need to go with it. Up. Prime Minister from the other party. Portia defeated him. Him defeated Portia. And nothing that he said was pretentious or made up. You can tell that his speechwriters sat with him because they wouldn't know what his relationship would be with Portia Simpson Miller. And if you remember, Portia used to treat him like her son. And that's the first thing that happened today. And that was the first big stone in a Mark Golding head. And just as the swelling of that big stone, just as the blood looked like it was stopped, the Prime Minister was licking up again with the announcement that the Children's Hospital, Cornwall Regional Hospital, will also be named after Portia Lucretia Simpson Miller. Him couldn't stay. Him couldn't stand. Him have to live. Him couldn't stand. It was just too much. But that just wasn't what, that's not the only thing. He was there in his capacity as leader of the opposition and also president of the party that Portia once led. So while him head hurt him and blood run down him face, he was asked to say something. Him speaking for the Prime Minister, but he had something to say. And the man went up to that podium without an iota of understanding why he's there and what it's about. But most disturbing was the fact that he could not speak about Portia Simpson Miller, the president of the party that Portia was once the president of, and couldn't speak about Portia Simpson Miller. Him rambling on, looking red-faced, looking out of sorts. Don't take my word for it, but look at it. Him look out of sorts. Him look like he don't want to be there. So tell you why. The man was just rambling off. Him couldn't. There's no way that they could have invited PJ or Dr. Phillips to come speak at something like that about Portia, and them do have a whole heap of anecdotes and joke and know what them are talk about and know who them are talk about. You know, PNP people elect a British tourist white man to lead Norman Manley party, and he couldn't talk about the former leader of the party because he knows nothing about Portia. He never had any kind of relationship with Portia. Nothing. None. Never. I remember when my mother died. When I probably was deputy general secretary of the PNP at the time. I don't know. But I remember my mother died. And Portia turned up at the funeral. It was at Mary's church. And she dragged me one side. Almost dragged me in a father, not the vestry in a father office. Quarreling the hell with me. Because I never tell her. Truth of fact, I never tell nobody. Peter Phillips knew because he was the general secretary at the time. And the YO informed him. It never even occurred to me that I should have told Portia. But she turned up. And when the service finished outside, I talked to some community people who will remind her when she come here and how Audrey treated her. And she talked about how Audrey treated her. She don't have to give a speech. She just tell up there's some people all that time. Remember Audrey did? Audrey did so to do that, and Audrey did make that happen. Audrey come to the office and Audrey write the letter. He couldn't speak about Portia Simpson Miller. He had absolutely no knowledge of who she is. He doesn't. Don't know nothing about Portia. We used to go up on the road in Portia. I'm so happy for this building today. It's not funny. When we are Portia up on Campaign Trail, wherever we land, in the night, in a some bush somewhere, we look for the best place for Portia, and then we hang out. Sometimes we roll out on the floor, hanging on one chair somewhere. When we are Portia, she now make us hungry. To look out for it. He couldn't talk about the only female that has ever led the People's National Party and our first female prime minister. He couldn't speak. And knowing that this thing planned, and he was going to be there, I am absolutely certain he never sit down with nobody and ask him anything about Portia. But even then, you couldn't. You couldn't if you're going to a dedication service for something for Portia. You better know. Some people would need the paper. Some people would need nothing to write down. Philip Powell wouldn't need nothing to write down. Paul Burke wouldn't need to write down nothing. Neither Angela, Venetia wouldn't need to write down. I wouldn't need to write down. Let's go for a talk for an hour about the greatness of this woman and how deserving she is of this. And then just as we thought that Mark Golding had patch up and tie him up or something, so all his finger next to and lick him, boof again. We're going to name the children's hospital after Portia Simpson Miller. I couldn't stay, but take away himself. Take away himself. He never did any justice to this dedication ceremony. Uno PNP people, uno look like stupid ass people today. The Prime Minister of the country, who is the leader of the other party, stood tall and made Jamaica proud in his arguments about Portia Simpson Miller. And the party that she led couldn't measure up. Could not measure up at all. Do you know how serious a thing that is? If I was ever over there, the way I'd go on. I'd go and peer things over there if I was ever over there. But when I saw it, in all honesty to you, when I saw him fledgling and scrambling and book something and read something and look like him I suffer from tick's bite. When I saw it, it broke my heart. It really did. It broke my heart to know that he's the leader of the party that Portia once led. And that reconnection thing. I stopped, don't worry. Because I saw it spinning around and I don't know. Now the free internet is there to the phone running on. He couldn't measure up today. He will never be able to measure up. But you all should be ashamed of yourselves. It was a shameful display today by a leader. Shameful beyond understanding. I'm going to share the life, those own no PNP. Share some PNP people have talked about them at PNP. Share it with them for me. But this dedication ceremony and the naming of the building to Portia, I suspect that the entire process, even there were people leading it, but really was being championed by the Prime Minister. Now, big him up, you know, if him do not never lick him down, you know, but This must have been championed by him. Why I believe so? Remember, the opposition was out there making weaponize out. Them want to do this, and they was saying him not when do it, and when waiting on, and him not want him the building of a Porsche, and a Porsche didn't get the Chinese money for building children hospital, and a Porsche didn't do this, and him not want to do this, and him not want to do that. Shame and disgrace for our leader today. Shame, absolute shame from the man that would choose to lead the party that Portia used to lead. I want to hug him up. I want to continue to hug him up. And in the middle of that, I don't know what day it was. I don't know if it's today or yesterday or the day before. But then Lisa Anna, she just come and take herself, nice, pretty bonnet self, and just drop herself right in the Nikisha Burchell thing and thump down Nikisha Burchell. Maybe thump down, serious thump down. Did you see it? Yeah, I heard. Yeah. Yeah. Portia went and made that deal with the Chinese, and the Prime Minister spoke about it today. She didn't get the money yet, but she was the one who made that representation, and the Prime Minister said so today. So only you liberate whatever your name is up the front of it. Keep your mouth shut if you have nothing to do. I'll come for the damn life. She didn't get the money. You are right. But she was the one who made the first representation and asked for the help. And the Prime Minister himself said it today. So come for the damn life. If you're not, I'm going to get your information right. Don't aggravate me tonight. It's not a good night to aggravate me. Tonight, it's not a good night. Yeah, man, we have 3 Mile name after Portia too as well. Right in our constituency. That is named after her. Whoever thinks the name of a Portia. Because if we follow the trajectory of where it is going right now, there might be another female prime minister, but certainly not will come from the PNP. That will come from the PNP. Glorify, big up Portia Simpson Miller. How are you doing tonight, Sir Errol? You good? Many people call Portia. Many people call and see how she's doing. Many people do. So Lisa Anna she. What may I tell you? Lisa Anna she took up herself and went to visit the object of Nikisha Burchell's sick affection. Lisa Hannah placed herself smack in the middle of all of this and said, okay, you having a little obsessive love disorder. I want to show you this thing. Just bat her eyes, pray her ear, and go look for the Prime Minister. And rub lotion or something. Boy, you saying when it really pours, well, I mean, when it really pours, it's true. Look at it. In the middle of all this, Lisa Anna decided to exhibit a little bit of class. She didn't even go overboard. Just a little bit of class. I'm going to look for the PM. She was delighted. Him was delighted. Mrs. Holness up busy with the 2 of them. She's always delighted about that. She glad Lisa going to look for him. And when he come up, she'll smell him and say the product would have maybe asked Lisa to sell her something if she like it. I don't say to go. There's not a way to go. I don't say go. I come home and smell him and call Lisa put something for him and if it smell, and I'm going to say, Jules, this smell good? Because I want to buy one for you. Lick down Nikisha Burchell. Lick her down. Like the disgraceful, dirty girl that she is. Just lick her down. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what you call when it rains, it pours. The Speaker of the House is not appointed by the government. All of the dunce people on social media. We're talking about husband and wife around country. Go read a book, man. No, read a damn book. Go read Of Mice and Men. No, Men of Men, Men and Mice. Go read that. Go read something. Go read Animal Farm. Go read a book, man. Go read a book. Come on social media, YouTube. Go read a damn book. Go read Wuthering Heights. Emily Branton. Great. Go read a book about husband and wife around country. The Speaker of the House is a position that is open after an election, the first opening of Parliament, and the ruling the party that wins has the right to elect a speaker. Elect a speaker, because there might be people that not agree. And they chose Juliette Wallace. She's not selected. She's elected. And in her case, the opposition mainly, particularly Philip Powell, second the motion. And it leaves us to wonder why they did all of that. I know all of this. And I tell you already, them can't find them way yet. And I'm willing, always willing to give them some birth for them to just go find their way. And I'm willing to do that because our parliament need the two of them. Government and an effective opposition. Something that can balance the thing. Make our country look better. That's the only way. But they can't yet find a way to self-medicate. When you gather, man, I just 28 and not enough. At 28, I don't know. Find one place, man. Somewhere near one beach. Make somebody jerk some pork and jerk some chicken and cook some soup and have a whole heap of something for drink. And cuss to one another as to whose fault it is. Why we no lose? That's my suggestion as therapy. Who can't wear a bad suit, wear a frock. Who can't wear a bad chunk because them dick small, like bunting, and them wear a big shorts. Go down to one beach. Hang out. Cuss to one another. Tell them some word for bad about it. You're fine. And you didn't do that. You say, yo, cuss, man. Get it out. Because if you don't get it out, you're not going to feel relief when you leave the beach. You're not going to feel like you're going to shed a load. Because some of you carrying it on your mind that you could have done something different or something better, and others carry it on their mind that are your fault. Because nobody not say for them fault. Nobody not taking no individual responsibility for that. There's a pine finger for them one, And I say that because we're choosing Jamaica. And choosing Jamaica means you have a government and you have opposition. And under normal, ordinary circumstances, them find ways to find common ground. It has always been like that. Except since them people here. Danny Buck, who over the side, here. Everybody are dead with laugh. Michael Manley McGee speech with 1 foot cock up on one chair, drinking something out of one thermos like him thinks that we are idiot. I wouldn't know something. I mean, Parliament was still dilapidated and stuff, but it was the people in there that made it a parliament. Just the people. Not the building. It's the people. And everybody afraid. By panning, cuss somebody. Everybody a friend. Nobody now go out and go out with nothing. Nobody wasn't walking out of Parliament because them they expose something. And I'm warning you again. We want Andrew Holness to not only get him fourth term. I want to get him fifth term. I'm going out blazing in the fifth term. But we need an opposition. An opposition that's not going to make everything personal and everything about them. An opposition that's going to think about the country. An opposition going to say, boy, I wish I would do it, but I might be when someone could back it up. For the sake of Jamaica. Yeah. The third most popular prime minister in the country. Well, I don't know in the Caribbean. I don't know who do that poll. And well, I understand how they measure it. Kind of good economy and whole heap of this and resources and stuff. But first, me and Matley, I don't even know how that is. So your first best prime minister, Bobby's, they've been figuring out the economic train of things, even though Bobby's economy is good. And she popular all over the place. But popularity don't always equal respect and want to work with you and embracing you, because Europe not embracing her like they're embracing our prime minister. And America not embracing her like them embracing our prime minister. Biden they embrace her because of a more environmental thing. The king, my king. She become the most popular prime minister. And I'm wondering who do that poll. Because if that measurement is about who chat the most foolishness, then she's number one. And if that measurement is who walk around and make trouble all over the world, then she would be number one too. So maybe that was the measurement. I don't know what metric of measuring that poll, but maybe that was it. So she win that. So the speaker is elected by the parliament. And we have hardly ever have a situation where the person nominated by the ruling party is not supported by the opposition. We have hardly had that. We hardly had that. We used to have rumblings. As a matter of fact, I know of one instance where the ruling party said, we're going to nominate to somebody over the next side, we're going to nominate for a new speaker. And the next person said, yeah, man. Hardly. The parliament has gone down to the lowest level. And believe me when I tell you this tonight, when I'm getting into it. It is not exactly entirely Nikisha Burchell and Mark Golding and 28 clowns. It's not exactly entirely their fault why the parliament failing. They play a huge role. But I'm going to tell you why it's not entirely, completely their fault. Because if I have a man and run up and down boy and rob people, let's say him actually born and grow here. Say exactly now, put him out. He can't go without discipline. Can he? Can he go without discipline? And rob the cheese sticks, shop them and do all that thing? No, he can't go without discipline. There's no way that way happen. And nothing thrives on disorder. Everything thrives on cooperation. Not exactly order, but cooperation. Dean Jackson Miller says most of what's happening in the parliament. Let me just, who remembers that Dean Jackson Miller have a law degree, right? And with all the degrees and qualifications that some people have, somehow it seems to make them dumber because they have some other preconceived notions of what they should do or what they should say from whatever platform they have. And Dean Jackson Miller can influence no vote in this country. Could even influence vote for the PNP. And she squarely and can't. But she can't influence somebody. Dean Jackson Miller, I have more influence with voters than you. You can't influence a soul. I'm a genius at it. You don't know nothing. For you to say that what is going on in the parliament, or to suggest that all that is going on in the parliament is because of the inflexibility of the speaker. A lawyer, someone who's supposed to have studied our constitution and pass exam based on that study, because that's all them do. Study the constitution, pass the exam on it, and that's where their knowledge ends. Not a deep analysis of the constitution and its functions. Just study the question that I'm going to ask you. I'm going to answer them, and you're a lawyer. And all the other things. The things that are going on in the parliament, she's suggesting that's because of the inflexibility of the speaker. So let me go back again to the little people career day. Inflexibility of the speaker, she says. What if career day is on the calendar, on the school calendar? Every parent get one. What if a parent decide that he say, I want me fireman, but me not want me not make no fireman uniform. She not gonna look it. She not gonna beg somebody and borrow some money and make the uniform as is her obligation to beg, thief, or borrow to make him fire uniform. You know? What if a parent say, we not do that, we not depend on a career day? What is the action? What is the disciplinary action for that? There's no one disciplinary action. But here's what happens if you decide as a parent that you're now following the career day thing and you're now buying a fireman uniform and making the yard. I mean, I no money. I mean, I have to go cook. I mean, yeah, them kill this one day. We find money for here and everything else, but not the fireman uniform. What you would have done, should you not be involved in that, is create a chasm between you and school. Because right away, the teacher they're not with you. That's the first thing. Right away, once they know that was your attitude, the teacher not with you, because you could also go to school. And you could also say, listen, you say you want a fireman uniform, but we don't have no money. We have $500, $1,600 for the uniform, and we don't have no look. And you have one pair of shoes, and we can't bother you, miss. Anybody know any teacher that will run her? Because me don't know none. Anybody know any teacher, any school that will run her? Because I don't know none. But if she refused to follow that curriculum that is set from September, her own, the discipline that she's going to get, school lose respect for her. If that was the attitude, nah, buy none. Not parent who say, I really not have it, but I look it. Or me not buy none, make it yard. School loses respect for you. Sooner or later, some teachers start sideline you, and next thing you know what going on in your school. It happens. one foolish act. It happens. Inflexibility of the speaker. This woman with a law degree is suggesting that the speaker should skirt the standing orders and allow them, her people, to say what they want to say, talk up them patois. She's even supporting the whole patois thing. A woman who sat down and took the bar exam in English. And when she talk about it, she talking about it in English. All I chat about in English. The speaker must take the rules that everybody signed up on. And she must, at her whim and fancy, decide when and where she's going to break that rule. When and where she's going to break that rule. The rules of the parliament, the standing orders of the parliament, unless the parliamentarians get together and change it, it is what you work with. And then she went on, this lean mouth, who not seem to learn nothing for the last year and a half about what going out here and what we do. She don't understand what we do. Because we're Jamaicans. We're choosing Jamaica. And we now let go that. Jamaica is the best place on this earth. We don't business how you feel about darkness, but in that. And that we are defending. So you lean mouth, dear Jackson Miller about lean up like Natalie father, grandfather shoes. JPU. Talking about the things that some people, the nasty things that are being said about Nikisha Burchell. How disappointed you are about the nasty things that have been said about Nikisha Burchell. Come on, dear Jackson Miller. I don't hear you defend the speaker yet. I don't hear you say, well, you said that she did a bad thing with what she did the other day. You're trying to be balanced and fair. You're failing. You're failing. You see? Dear Jackson Miller and the rest of you, this is a one-sided affair. There's no two sides. It's one side. One normal side. Nikisha Burchell now have no side. There's only the side of the parliament and the speaker and the one side on the two side. What do you think this is? Some kind of quarrel between him and she and him or she and she? No, a one damn side. The Speaker of the House of Representatives is the ultimate power in the parliament, and her job is to ensure that the standing orders are followed and parliament is treated with respect and there is decorum and integrity. She's charged with all of that, poor woman. All of that. So there's no two sides, and you're speaking like there's a side for Nikisha Burchell and a side for Mrs. Wallace. No, there's no side for Nikisha Burchell. No side. She was elected by the people of South St. James, God help them. She's a member of parliament. Her entire parliamentary life and everything that she has to say in there depends on the damn speaker. Which part of that do you not understand? Do you think she can't get up without saying, Madam Speaker? She can't flinch in there without saying, Madam Speaker. Every damn thing in there goes through the speaker. Flexibility. When Mark Goldner did his speech and him said, need more time, I grumble and break. And him don't talk about I need more time, I need more time. And people started, the speaker never gave him time. All it took was for the leader of opposition business to get up and request 15 more minutes or half an hour more for him. That's all it took, but they didn't do it. He prefer to not make parallel do it and then get to say, I need more time and I never get more time. And the speaker then becomes inflexible. You look at Ahmed. We're drinking, woman. You're behaving and talking as if, what were you talking? As if there are two sides to a story. There are no two sides here. There's only one side. The Speaker of the House controlling the House to ensure that its rules and its regulations, standing orders are observed, and that its members who are elected by the people understand that these are the rules, these are the standing orders. Your only job in here is to follow it. If you want to open your mouth, you address me. You want to get up and stop, you better address me. When your mic turn on, talk to me. What do you think this is? That there, between the speaker and the membership, that there's not democracy, you know? No, man, there's not democracy there, so. You want to get up and say something, you have to chat to the speaker. And parliament is made for get up and talking things. As simple as that. But she holds the speaking chair. But it's not entirely Nikisha Birchall's doing that making the parliament into a robber-rousing. Picking the play better than the parliament. A robber-rousing like a place with a whole heap of, like a whole heap of tear up pants batty man. Sorry. Tear up batty pants man and a whole heap of dirty girl. That turn the parliament and that. Was that only? It's not just because of what she is doing and Mark Golding is doing and the opposition is doing. It's not only because of that. The United States Senate has 100 senators. It's a small body. It's a boys' club. I have been in there. It's a lovely place. I have been into their lunchroom. You don't want to go there every day go eat. The House have 435 people. That's a rubber rose. There is a thing in the United States Senate that they call the filibuster. It's also called the nuclear option. And every single election cycle, those who seeking to control it, the Senate, will say that we are going to break the filibuster. And the filibuster is one somebody can get up and decide that a legislation will get passed. One somebody from the opposition get up and just make it very difficult for a legislation to be passed, which is why so many things get left in the Senate. And that one person can get up like Cory Booker the other day and chat for about 36 hours straight. The only thing, the rule of that is that you can't sit down. What they do to help each other when they're doing those long talking is somebody will, stop him and ask a question and elaborate on something to give him voice or rest. People have done it before. The first person that did it was a show, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington with Jimmy Stewart. He was the first one to create history in that movie, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. Ordinary countryman get elected to the Senate and him go down there and not get nothing done. And him stand up on the Senate floor and make one excitement for about 48 hours. Well, that's a show. But it can happen in the Senate. Now, every election cycle, those who don't control the Senate will go out like Chuck Schumer did before he took control of the Senate last time when he was in control. And he said, we're going to break the filibuster. We're going to give the American people what they elect us to do. We're going to give it to them. We're going to do it. This filibuster is holding up legislation, vital legislation. And the only leader of the Senate was always been very clear that him now break the filibuster was Mitch McConnell, and he's very clear about that, you know. But everybody else campaigning. Yes, we're going to break the filibuster. Even Trump said it. Let's elect a new Senate so that we can break the filibuster and get those legislation passed. I want to find something and share with you. And they do it. They do it every time. They talk about the filibuster. And the filibuster this. And the filibuster that. And nah, we are break the filibuster. How we not break the filibuster? But the truth of the matter is, none of those parties, neither the Republicans, nor the Democrats, none of them wants to throw out the filibuster. Not one. Pardon, but I'm looking for something in the meantime just to share something with you. You know? None of them. Them guard that procedure with them life. Them go to fool up the American people and say, we're going to change the filibuster so we can get this particular legislation passed. I can't find it. All right, let us continue. Why don't they pass? Why don't they break the filibuster? Because every now and then them break it, you know. They do. They would set aside, the Senate set its own rules, you know. Them operate within a constitution, yes. But the Senate have so much leeway and leverage to set rules and change rules. It is an amazing thing. It is a model of the Greek Senate. Them can just change anything they want. So with regarding the filibuster, them change that sometime, like when they want to get a judge to be they want to get that judge passed and go through the motion and then put aside the filibuster when nobody says, I will make the judge pass, or so if they want to get some judges pass or some other legislation that's important to them, then put aside the filibuster to get that done. But the question is, I promise you this leading somewhere. Why don't they get rid of it? Why no party ever sought to get rid of the filibuster in the Senate? They don't want to. Because the opposition always anticipated that it is very likely that they will be in that position one day, or the people in power always anticipated that one day I'm going to be over the next side and we want to have this. We want to have the nuclear option. So both of them playing it. And nothing gets done. Now the Senate, now our parliament, this is what I'm looking for. I won't find it yet. I'll soon find it for you. Our parliament has rules. Our parliament have ways and means to deal with and sustain the integrity of the parliament. Found it. A core value, a core rule in parliamentary law is that reflections, insult, or ridicule upon the character or action of the speaker are considered a breach of privilege or contempt. Let me read that to you again. And I'm going to read that to you again. I'm going to start. Disciplinary action can be taken against an MP for making a video like the one that Nikisha made, making fun of the mace. Even if it is recorded outside the parliamentary precincts and after the sitting has ended. In Westminster style systems, like ours here in Jamaica and the UK and Canada, I would imagine New Zealand and Australia, the same thing. Parliamentary privilege and the House's power to punish for contempt are not strictly confined to the physical walls of the building. Let me explain what that is saying. For the parliament to punish and discipline a parliamentarian doesn't necessarily confine to what they do in the parliament, but also outside of the parliament. Remember the filibuster rule. Every time I read something like this, keep the filibuster thing in your mind. A core rule in parliamentary law is that insults or ridicule upon the character or the actions of the speaker are considered a breach or contempt of privilege or contempt. And here's a principle of that. Some of you might have watched Michelle's video, because she did a video on this. The speaker represents the authority. The speaker represents the authority of the entire house. It's like a two-sided nothing. Ridiculing the speaker, especially for an official act like suspending a member for a mace incident, is seen as undermining the dignity of the institution itself. Historical and modern precedents show that MPs can be disciplined for comments made in newspapers, interviews, social media, anything that brings the house or its offices into any kind of public disrepute. Example, in some jurisdiction, I think this probably applies to Canada, members have been cited for contempt or publicly reprimanded for social media posts that selectively comment on or ridicule the parliamentary business. Parliament, well, listen to this part. Keep the filibuster in mind, you know. Keep the filibuster in mind. Just follow me. I promise you're not leading you astray. Parliament has a broad, loosely defined power to declare any act of contempt if it obstructs the House or its members in the performance of their duties. How did Jackson Miller get law degree? The parliament as a committee they call the privileges committee. And it is that committee that is supposed to meet and deal with the discipline regarding membership or members who choose to ridicule or bring the parliament into disrepute. Any member of those can get up and request the convening of the privileges committee. Any member. The Speaker of the House is the one that chairs the Privileges Committee. But in most cases across the Commonwealth, speakers recuse themselves and appoint someone else to chair the Privileges Committee, especially if the matter that is being discussed directly impact on the Speaker. The filibuster. This doesn't fall completely on the shoulders of a disgustingly disgraceful young woman displaying nastiness and dirtiness in our politics. It does not fall squarely on her. Now, this is evenly divided between the two. The members, the Speaker of the House, well, three, the House itself. You have all this power. You have all these committees. But you refuse to use it to bring the Parliament under order. You refuse to use it. Angela messed with the mace and she run regard now. Me never know if she'll come back. All of that transpired that day in the Parliament, and I understand, I do understand, you know, that part there, what I was doing. But now I'm taking back my understanding of it. I am, because it is that lack of discipline that is going to now pump them up to do it, and you don't want to do it. The Speaker don't want to do it, the JLP members of Parliament don't want to do it, because what? The filibuster. You are anticipating that one day you might be on the other side. And for the sake of our Parliament being in such public disrepute, being so degraded on a daily basis by its own members, and you, the leaders who are in charge now, refuse to act, the filibuster. Filibuster in the parliamentary rules, filibuster in the Privileges Committee, filibuster in discipline, filibuster in order. Because you are anticipating that one day you might be the opposite position. Who no work for? The question I ask you, who the hell no work for? That who can just take a decision because the Speaker can. And I do love Mrs. Juliet Wallace and I support her 100%, but we can't continue like this. You can't have rules being skirted upon, heaped upon disgrace and scandal and social media all over it, and the Parliament look like a dirty dolly house. Not even good dolly house. You look like a dirty dolly house when on the floor we are cooking on one cheese pan. And you refuse the members of the jail in the Parliament. Somebody refused to get up and say, I am moving for the Privileges Committee to be convened to discipline these people. What kind of example to set in? What are they doing there? Who do work for? Who elect to know? The people out here reading and seeing these things on social media, all over the place, all over the radio, all over the TV, everywhere they've done. The Parliament is in disrepute, disgrace and scandal. And the Parliament, King Charles III, Parliament, because of the King Parliament. Every day they wake up. Every day they wake up. The people who are elected, not only to go make law and look after our well-being, but protect the institution that they are elected to, them sit down a filibuster the discipline that is required for people to understand that this can't work. How long is this going to continue? Because if you couldn't believe that, well, yesterday is Angela, today is Nikisha Burchett, somebody else will come. Because because there are no consequences to their action. We cannot, in all good conscience, consider ourselves to be free people living in a modern world, and discipline seems to be escaping the parliamentarians who are making the law. Or they can't even bring it to discipline on their own. What do they expect from our kids? The little people, them police uniform and them fireman uniform. What do they expect from them? And you can't bring order and discipline because you're anticipating that one day you don't want this happen to you. And that means that you all don't have a clear understanding of what you're supposed to be doing. You make them get away with it. But let me tell you, maybe I should not. I was taught some serious things in my younger life. Serious things. One Russian professor said, put a scenario before us and said, gave us an entire scenario. Send us walking on the streets of Moscow. And you come back and say, okay, everybody got it? What would you do? One simple question. Now that you see it and it's there and it's, there. What would you do? What would you do? One question to all of us. Nobody there answer. In a different way. Would you forgive? Have a talk? Maybe make some promises and exert some promises. Would you? Absolutely not. No way. Discussions, arguments as to pros and cons and why it was necessary. One chance. If you look at it in detail, you can't give a next chance. Because the next chance might get somebody killed. Simple as that. And the Speaker of the House and the JP membership, because she never made that decision all by herself. She has a party that she is a part of. And she has a Prime Minister who is her husband. But he was the Prime Minister. The leadership of the party who would discuss those things. And who would say or say not. I could let it go this time. Because when the Mace thing happened and everybody was falling over themselves to apologize, not only to speak about calling up them friends in the JLP, to, apologize. I said I never mean it, and I call up everybody, and then everybody started gritting them teeth. And then call it and talk to me, and that till I said you never mean it. What's wrong with you? When are you going to get this right? 64 years from now? When are you going to get this right? Filibustering the rules of the parliament. Discipline. How on God's earth you going to ask any teacher or any parent of those little people that you should teach your child discipline? And only the parliament can't even discipline yourself. On a filibustering the rules. The speaker is aware of all the powers that she has. I am sure she never knows that she has so much power. When we were putting out every power that she has, leading up to after the Angela Mace matter, everybody gets shocked and frightened and afraid because they never knew. None of them knew. Not a single one of them knew. that the speaker has those powers. And the parliament operate this way. Nobody. Angela was shocked. Maybe that's why she run away. Nobody knew. We were putting it out daily. And then the speaker chose not to exert discipline on members of the house who desecrated the house with indiscipline and disrespect and lack of decorum. So, you should have said, all right, my turn. The speaker's behaving. You know, there is disorder and there is disrespect. Disorder, the disorder is coming from them. But they should have the God forgot about there is disorder. And then there is disrespect. Disrespect. It's all coming from them. Directed at the speaker. And the speaker whose main responsibility, maybe even sole responsibility, is to protect the integrity of the institution, is failing, filibustering, failing mercenary. Thank God we are a little country with a little bit of people. Because if we're ever bigger with a whole heap of people, God knows. Thank God also that the country not all that engaged about the importance of this. Don't ever should thank God for that or not, because maybe that's not good. But they're not engaged on it as to what the speaker can do, what the speaker's responsibility and rights and powers are. They know about the mace now. I know about the mace. I know so nobody never touch it. At a certain point, the marshal take it up. Everybody know about the mace. But now we're going to educate them about the fact that all the shenanigans, all the disrespect, all the disorder, all of that that's going rubber rousing and lack of decorum in the parliament, we are now going to educate them slowly that there can be actions to be, we have to educate people, let them know that the speaker can discipline these people, and she refused to. She refused to. Like your buddy, a friend, yeah, man. Angela never mean it, man. No, man, you know Angela called me. How you know Angela called me? She never been, you know, and she never thought that. And she never, a whole heap of that I was getting. A whole heap of that. From JLP people. People with power. What about us? What about the people who elected all of you? What about the Prime Minister's little people friend them? Them go walk around the whole country and made a lot of friends. What about them? What about them? Who will be old enough soon and will have probably far more advanced digital social media stuff to see all that took place before. I said, gosh, this was it. I don't expect the country must carry on like this. The world respect Jamaica. The world love us. We are in a good place in the eyes of the world. We're in a very good place in the eyes of the world. But this, Canadians are marveling. Marveling. I thought, I saw it, Karen, but I thought it was, you know, some social media thing. It's not, it's real. It's real. It is real, Brian, as real as I'm talking to you. It is real. A member of the house went and took up the mace and then all of them blocked the marshal from actually doing his job. It is real, sir. It's not a social media gimmick. And that member paid no consequences. None at all for that behavior. She was let off free. But let me tell you something as somebody who study political science. Not in a Jamaica either, but all over the world. And Jamaica. I'm going to do it again. Maybe not tomorrow, not next week, not next month, maybe not next year. I'm going to do it again. Because now they know they can get away with it. Just do it and call everybody and say never be it. The United Nations or Europe and European Union and all of them said Jamaica is good. Democracy, our democracy is doing good and they're proud of us. And we are among the best in the Western Hemisphere, which is about 35 countries. And we are the best. Let us be better than the best now. Let us try and see if we can discipline people in the parliament. Let's discipline them. How about it? How about if we just discipline them? And while them doing all of that and getting away with it, Matalan him putting out things for in paper. Jamaica, he says. Jamaica, Matalan wrote in his paper. I don't write it, but a Matalan paper and him we are talking about. I'm in a business and all who young Matalan. When me say I run up on about, don't better don't cross me. Don't not to cross me. I cross my name. Don't cross me. Don't send out that message to me. Jamaica stands at a defining constitutional moment, Matalan wrote. The legal battle between Prime Minister Holness and the Integrity Commission is not just a dispute over statutory declarations or corruption or investigative procedures or political perception. It is now, Matalan writes, a test of how seriously democracy is taken in Jamaica. Because too often, he says, democracy is viewed as elections alone. Jamaica stands at a defining constitutional moment. Matalan's confusion is that the defining constitutional moment that faces the country is not the parliamentarians on the opposition side behaving like hooligans and dirty girl and dirty boy. No, that is not just for him. It's not them disrespecting the speaker. It's not them not following the rules. That is not it for him. For him, the defining moment, the defining constitutional moment is the legal battle between the Prime Minister and that committee where they call him Integrity Commission. But Matalan has nothing to say. As a defining constitutional moment about whether a member can go for a podcast and sit down there and talk about the speaker of controlling issues, thinking that she wants to control us like we're children and she controls us like controlling our husband. How about that, Matalan? That mean nothing to you? That is not a constitutional, defining constitutional moment. No? Got it. That is not one of the defining constitutional moment. The quorum of our members, the respect of our constitution. That you are saying is not a defining constitutional moment, but the defining constitutional moment is the Integrity Commission who running interference about Golding and you and all the rest of you call yourself civil society and all out who run interference on behalf of Mark Golding. That is not a defining constitutional moment. No. Of course not. Of course not. It's not. And as a result of that, Mr. Matalan, now I've made it pretty clear. That's not it. No, that's not it. Not it at all. What is it? Is the Prime Minister's. Trying to find my notes. I can't find them at all. What is it? What it is the Prime Minister's. Damn, what did this do? Talking statutory deductions. Statutory deductions. That is it. So a couple of weeks ago, when the British tourists in our parliament, those are the things, why people can be upset at the parliament. If they be thrown the British tourists long time for being a British tourist, put him out of the parliament because he is a citizen of Britain and not a citizen of Jamaica. Them can't get on with things because everybody filibustering. One of them must say we have one, two, so we're about that trouble feel one. Putting the parliament in a compromising position where it's difficult for the speaker to defend the integrity of the institution because of that active. Everything can slide out and enjoy the show and the excitement. They're going to believe in it, do have no responsibility for that. So a couple of weeks ago, the British tourists didn't get up in the parliament and start making fuss. One heap of excitement about tabling the FLA thing. And in the midst of it all, he said also, or suggested, that they should also table the one on ENAs. I wish they would prison him ass. No, I don't wish that because that would be bad and would be just devastated. Well, I'm telling you. But anyway, he was making all of this fuss about the IC, the FLA thing. And in doing so, we thought that something was going on. We thought that if him going out with all of that and willing to throw ENAs under the bus, something going over there we don't know about yet. We're trying to figure it out. We think something going with him. We're trying to figure it out. Not fully figure it out yet. And then it came full circle today. Full circle. And it has never failed to make the assumption that when Mark Golding come out and start talk about something about the Integrity Commission, there is something else happening and something else coming. Never failed. Once him start come out and talk about Integrity Commission things, look for the other things. That is a tell. There's always a tell that something else coming and him first know. Him first know because everybody, Beresford and them work for him. We can't go and play a fool for catchers and think say anybody is there. Tell them a long time on not listening. It's Omar Davis and them set up the whole thing for Mark Golding to go write the Integrity Commission Act. Let me remind you now, he wrote that law in boast about it. Where was he made a boast too? Pick up his chest. Look at me, the British white tourist Jew. I'm going to the parliament and I write a law that will mess up the whole of them. But nobody can be nothing because be a British tourist white Jewish man and can't trouble my slave money and nobody can't chat to me. Write that law for the whole of the black monkey then. And the whole black monkey them vote for it. And it's law. And when he wrote that law, they took it a step further. I'm telling you about it already. Just reiterating a little thing, just a little bit of forward. And after he wrote it, and the black monkey them vote for it, he just said, "I hear me. I hear them here." They just went ahead. Oh, they just went ahead and handpicked the people to lead that commission. They handpicked them. Yes, the people applied, but they handpicked them and tell them to apply. Comrade Panton, Comrade Justice Panton, you want to end the integrity commission. Yes, apply for the work. But it's not paying attention. Your name Panton and you're the judge, but now gonna beat you. Go and do it for comrade. Comrade Beresford wasn't no comrade. Maybe the one like a push at one time. Beresford is just a house slave working for my hole. Him and the next ugly bulldog one were left. Greg Christie. How is it? How could it possibly be any kind of coincidence that Mark Golden would say that then, and now Mr. Beresford come out and saying some other things, which he did from the 7th of May, and we just got it today. Let's look at what he's talking about. And once again, keep the filibuster in mind. I don't want to lose sight of the filibuster. I want to have the filibuster thing lined up. Write it down. Filibuster. Keep it in mind. Why your parliament is failing you. And why the people who elect to lead us are failing us. Because them sitting there and allowing the parliament to be a dolly house, not a dog house. Keep it in mind. Yes, he is. Comrade Justice Panton, in the same one. So on May 1st, the IC received a letter from the Parliament asking them for an update on the matter of their affiliate. May 1st, sorry. 6 days later, on May 7th, the IC, Mr. Beresford, responded. And Mr. Beresford responded in a way that again had one more pile of dog on top of the parliament because he knew one can do it. He knew one can get away with it. He knew that Mark Golden wrote a law for them. And he was a law unto himself. Him rung up out the part then. That him a law unto himself. Justice Panton. Oh, by the way, when Mark came out, Justice Panton came out to, and Matalan came out to, whatever the city coronation. Mark came out and said it must come out. Panton come out and say it must come up with Justice Panton. Look like him things, so forget him. He thought that it was an election thing. But we have not forgotten you, Comrade Justice Panton. And why you come back out here, see? So Mark come out, then him come out, then Matalan come out. And now this. Why don't one listen when people are talking to you? When you come like some ideas speaking, you know, on the parliamentarians. Or the protecting the status quo and making sure the filibuster stays in place. Because that justice Beresford, Craig Beresford, felt it completely comforting. He was completely comfortable that he could sit down and write a letter like this in answer to a request from the Speaker of the House. I don't want to be speaker. I want to be speaker. I don't run my seat. I want to be speaker. I think I should be the speaker of the house. He felt absolutely comfortable sitting down and write a little like this. Absolutely comfortable. That's the first thing you must note about the letter. It's a comfortable thing for him to say. Listen with Uno, we are right before asking for update for. And in the meantime, since you write me and ask me for update, take that and that and that and that. You know, those are used to the letter. Understand that? Look again. Speaker asks him to provide her with an update as to what's happening in the parliament, as to what's happening with these cases, and him decide to answer the speaker. And because him big nadocious and think him above the parliament, and nobody can chat to him. Parliament maybe can chat to you, but you don't know me. And think that. So he felt absolutely comfortable to sit down and pen a letter like this to the speaker, telling her what the situation is with that. Oh, by the way, man, when I tell you that, that's what I'm saying, you know. While I'm at it, the IC notes the decision of the parliament to defer the decision originally sent on March 30th. That's it. Good thing that to say to the speaker. Why is that not a good thing to say to the speaker? Because it's not just the last line, the last paragraph, you know. It's the entire letter couched in disrespect. Is disrespect couched in language. It is total defiance couched in legal language. It is FU couched in legal language. That's what it is. The parliament notes the decision. The IC notes decision. You chat to the parliament. You talk about you know decision like you own the parliament. You scold the children. You are the adult and you scold the kids. Kids write and tell us that one new bicycle you write out. You not. Notes the decision of the parliament. The man is saying, I'm watching them. I'm sending the thing from March 30th. I want to have it. I don't want to table it. I want to defer it. That's all I said to her. That first line. That's all. Yeah, man. Oh, you're so out of order. Me sending this thing from March 30th. And then you decide that you're going to defer it. I'm watching you. I'm noting it. I am taking stock of it. How dare you defer something I send to you? And the speaker maybe in some way believe that she own her tweet and deferring it is her right and her power to defer it and all the rest of it. No, our master scholar. The filibuster. Don't level the filibuster all about it. And he went on to list all the dates that the court heard from the two parties. And then he said, the matter has been adjourned until May 29th, where the court will render a final judgment, a decision or judgment. Then he went on to scold the little black girl from Spanish Town, who dared the parliament to upset his master. The little black girl from Spanish Town who used to sell scandal bag. And go on, I said twice, like him I said twice, remember who you are and where you come from. Go on to school her. And don't read this as it is. This is couched in language of, this is disrespect, out of order. This can't, you know. One of the major wars we had here one time in Jerusalem, war between, it might have been the second to last war between we and three other smarty over so and over so. And we didn't make like we are number one. That one war. When meetings start take place and Ray and man want keep party and man want do this and Ray and everybody lose money, so them want put an end to it. And all of that one. And we decide to meet. One man said, yeah, you hear me? There's one thing me know for certain. When you call, me not tell you what the man said. I change my mind on that. But there's one thing I know for certain. When you end a war, a conflict in this country, when wars are won, back then, when we have peace and meeting, and everybody say, yeah, we're done. Well, yeah, we're good now, everybody done now. Do not put up your weapon. Don't put it up. He probably never put up feet either. And the next man, they probably not put up for them either. Nobody don't trust nobody. Nobody don't trust nobody. So Mr. Beresford is under the impression that what was going on last year and probably the year before, lead up to the election, was just for elections. And now I have a new opportunity now to continue what can never put on him weapon. Cry cree, look at peace. When you gonna put it up? Don't put on your weapon. So when him done, tell her that after him send letter to her from March 3rd, from March 30th, she write to him and ask him about update. You think she out of order? Then he proceed to scold her. Tell her that once investigation is finalized and the investigation is sent to Parliament, what job done? Once we give it to you, we don't have nothing else to do with it. We complete our investigations. We gave it to you. You must now table it and whatever. We don't business with it. We don't business where you want to do with it. Which is basically what I'm saying. We're done. And we give you. Anything you want to do with it, do with it. You're the Parliament. But then he couldn't help himself. So he went on to chide the Parliament about its time and its process. The Parliament is now under siege. Under siege. And everybody have read the letter today. I'm sure everybody read it already. But I want to share that last line. If I can find it. You know, Michelle, I don't think I have it on this phone. You know. Michelle, I don't have it on this phone. If you could send it back to me, please. I can read that last line to the people on the live to tell them how out of order Craig Beresford is. With him rank himself. This little piece of crap man. I write to a Parliament. I talk about him want this and him want that and him don't think that and him think this and why you never table it and it's, you know, and he's a man. Somebody let Michelle, please. He went on, man. The almighty Mr. Beresford went on. He went on after Mark Golding start by talking about it. Then Matalan put print about it, saying that the defined is going to be defined by constitutional moment. It's the defining constitutional moment. And after Matalan said that, Mark Stephene thing, Matalan said that, then Pantan come out and say it should be tabled like him a parliamentarian. And now Mr. Beresford letter. All of that, what Mark said, what Pantan said, what Matalan print, all of it was as a result of this letter. Now we know that. We didn't know that before. Mark had seen the letter. Oh, him get the letter. That's the first question we asked ourselves when he came out with it. You know, where the hell him get that from? Can nobody send a letter to him? The parliament, the speaker have the letter. The report, whatever it is. Nobody said anything. So first thing on, him get the letter. Matalan get the letter. Pantan, of course, Comrade Justice Pantan still have it. So everybody, all of them line up and came out here. They wanted to start something. Like they wanted to say, yeah, we could talk about that and that and that, and then we can pivot and go back in and Mr. Old thing. That's the only way they could have spoken about it for Matalan to come up with this. How else could they have, sit down and say, that's how we're going to do it? For Matalan to come out with that. Mark Golding come out talk about it. Then Pantan come out and say that it should be tabled. And then Matalan printed thing. How else do you believe? Okay, I don't know where Michelle is, Michelle should get fired from last year, Michelle should get fired from last year. I don't know why we keep her. This might be the year. Because she don't send me, I can't find a letter to read that last part of the letter to you. I'm trying to find it. But just to say, just to note that yes, Matalan came out and spoke about the Prime Minister's declarations and said it's a defining constitutional moment. So him said that part, Mark met nice at the parliament about it, about the tabling of the report. Then Matalan write that. Then Pantan come out and say the next part is a trilogy. And them come out covering all flanks to box down the parliament. The man them come out covering all flanks to pressure the parliament, to start a new war with the parliament because they never put down their weapon. Then we just ease up because them lose on September 3rd. They were looking forward to win, to come burn down Mr. Wolney's house. But God was in the midst of that. So now, he might tell the speaker that once I give you the report, it is no longer my business. But then he proceed now to tell the speaker that I'm business that, and him have the responsibility for upholding whatever. I get the letter. Can't find it. Please forgive me. I should have it on there. I just can't locate it. I just don't know wait there. Somebody ask me coming and wait there. And Michelle cannot be found. She's missing in action. My guess is she have something in her ears. So there. Mr. Craig Beresford decide that he is going to interfere in how the parliament does its business. Him decide that in coming out in support of his white master, come lick down the parliament. But let us go back to the filibuster. And get the letter. Let's go back to the filibuster. The parliament that has all of these enormous powers. The parliament, members of that parliament who have repeatedly cited how divisive the Integrity Commission is, how political they are, how embedded into the PNP that they are. The parliament, members of that parliament have cited on several occasions how the IC is overreaching, how the law that governs them is invasive and set up to disgrace people, printing people name their papers. They have been charged for not reporting something. They see it. They know it. They are the parliamentarians. What are they doing about it? What? They're afraid. The whole of them afraid. The government that we went out and worked hard for and elected, afraid. Shall I lose our work tonight? Oh, all right. My fault. You just said it. Okay. The government that we went out and Mr. Holness and the ministers and everything are going, we're doing good. We are fixed up back for Melissa. We're up there upon the world stage. All things are going good. The police them on top of things. Ray and Blay. But the parliament is in total disarray while all of that is going on, which is basically saying we're going to go and push through them things and get them things done, talk about these things, give the Jamaican people what they deserve. But the parliament, the place that governs and makes laws in this country, that is in disarray. They can't bring themselves all now to get together and say, we want to rewrite this IC law. It's unjust. It's invasive. It is embedded in the PNP. Its members are political operatives. And they don't believe. And they believe that any such parliament could exist. I'm Mr. Trump telling people that to throw them people. Integrity Commission. This is not Australia. This is not New Zealand. This is not Canada. Or any member of, well, I'm not speaking about Caribbean, but I like to speak about those countries. Those are the ones I use as example because we and them have the same kind of Westminster style parliamentary process. Their integrity commissions or committees or bodies or whatever they call it are trustworthy. These are men and women who have political attachments but not failing to do their job. Not at all. It's amazing. Mr. So-and-so who's from the Liberal Party of this, and Mrs. So-and-so who joins the Democratic Party over there, so, and Mr. John who draw the PPP, and a one who's member of the DPP, and the PCC. All five of them make up that committee. They're parliamentarians. They're citizens who have been asked to serve in that capacity. They have political connections. They are on public record as being members of political parties. But they're not feeling. They're not feeling. Because for them, their country comes first, not them party. The country comes first. And Mr. Oldness, no understand that him can go out and say the country comes first, but you can't just say it. It's not an argument to be made. It's not an argument to be made. It's an argument that must be demonstrative. It's an argument must be mired into the constitutional, legislative, parliamentary process that we must hold sacred. When that breaks, everything falls apart. And right now, it is bursting at the seams. Because this country some political illiterate, some voters in some places vote for these people on the opposition benches and send the country. They send a young woman who is mentally unnerving. Let me not say that. Who's sick, who has issues. A young lady who they know had no moral value, bring no moral value to the country. She has lived her life and she has said everything that she needs to say about her own life, and she's proud of her life. And there might be some young women who like that, but a majority of this country don't. They don't. So who pick up on the cell phone and elect this young woman, send her to parliament with all her various falsities. And she came there with qualifications, not education. Because she's not an educated woman. No educated person don't do that crap. Only people with qualifications and get power do them kind of crap there. Only them the kind of people that do that. You have qualifications and you get power. Yeah, you can't do that. Not gonna do that. Because if she was properly educated, she would not do that. But she's not properly educated. We know that now. Oh no. Elect these people. And the people who we elect on September 3rd to continue to lead this country, they are the ones who are failing us. Not the opposition. They will give them fuel by refusing to follow the parliamentary process, by refusing to discipline them. The filibuster. The filibuster. Let's pass this legislation to make all black men in this country be free. That's an argument, the US. Let's pass that legislation. The amount of legislation that is buried in committee in the US Senate is as a result of the filibuster. Because one man can't get up and say, I support it. I stop and talk for 12 hours. That's the end of that. It's done. And the next party says, we're going to change it, and then we don't change it neither. Because them anticipate that at some point they're going to be on the other side, and then we need that. Nikisha Birchall is a disgraceful young woman. I have never seen anything like this in my life. You get an opportunity to go to the highest decision-making body in this country. And this is the way, this is the path that you choose. Because you are asleep with some man with need for somebody to help them. Because they might look up small, dick, swivel up, dick man. Who you believe that you must do something for him. So you're going after these people. And your life of living is what driving you. Because you can't see yourself not being able to attract the attention of the leader of the country. You can't see yourself not being able to do that. You've been doing that all your life. This is how you make up. Oh, I want him. Oh, he's married. Yeah, but I want him. I want people to say that rumor has it. I want people to say that, me and him a date. It's not true, except in my mind. That's the only place it's truthful, in my mind. But I want people to say it. But him not pay me no man, boom, I call it down the wife. Him not pay me no man, all right? Don't pay me no man. Get your wife, get your wife. Controlling issues, disrespect, and disorder. Which I'm responsible for, but I make sure my men say she do it. I'm not going to put my podcast and I'm going to pull down my blouse and she better be careful, She never know. Oh, she don't understand this country, She better be careful. Be careful, little girl. So there is she, there's Mark Golden, and there's all of them, and then there is Mr. Beresford. Right? Let us look at this part of Mr. Beresford rank and feisty and dirty and somebody need to box him in the face and I'm not promoting no violence. Don't box Beresford. Please don't box him. Boxing is not violence. Boxing is not violence. No, that is not violence. What a feisty out of order piece of crap. Huh? Who give him that authority? Who say that you can do this? Who? Who tell him? In addressing the current deferral, and he's referring to the one with the FLA, where him saying that him told the speaker that she defer it after he gave it to her on March 3rd, and she defer it. So I'm now saying that in reference to that deferral, we, the Integrity Commission, who is we wish to bring to the Parliament's attention. God, Jesus, mercy. Who no can't go road but talk about people must vote for? For what? You would have like a face the man that nobody elected that can write this crap and send to the Parliament and want to sit down and what? Twiddling their toes? Planning some kind of letter writing or some kind of speechifying? What? What exactly the planning? What is going to be the response? Nothing. Not a thing. And he knew that when he wrote this, that no, not going to do crap. Because I'm behaving as if I did the parliamentarians. I just, well, we give them it. We'll come out and give them it and work around it and tough out and then afraid. They're not afraid. They're tough out. So might as well. This face the dirty man. After him saying send you the thing, and once him sending the thing, he's busy with the thing, then impossible. Alright, do you hear me? Me a go to the back of water. So once we go to the back of water, me no business with it. Oh, by the way, me get the back of water, and I want to remind you that is me get a bottle of water, and it's a good bottle of water that I gave to you, and I have the authority to take it back from you. Oh, hell yes. Go, Mr. Beresford. Go on. Brings to the Parliament attention the authority. The authority. That's not the part I want to read to you primarily. You know. So get it, but I love this part. We wish to bring to the Parliament's attention. Once we investigate, the report is finalized and transmitted to the Parliament, and then the Commission's primary statutory duty under the Integrity Commission Act, that damn right, is fulfilled. What a face the dirty, out of order man named Craig Beresford. That's not the part. Here is the part now. The Commission specifically notes. That's the part I prefer. I'm not busy with them. I know the thing them where you might talk about down here. So notwithstanding independent legal guidance and all of that. We know everybody having a fit over that last part. But me is from the beginning to the end and in the middle. The Commission specifically notes the House of Parliament decision to defer. After me get here from March 3rd, you got defer it. Want you, woman? That's basically what I'm saying. But anyway, let's skip all of that. Notwithstanding the pending legal guidance being sought by the Houses of Parliament, the Commission remains cognizant of its statutory obligation. no. Those who learn to read never learn to read between the lines. And better reading that, you know. Between the lines. This here, this final part here, is a threat. It is an outright goddamn threat. I want to read it in another language. Talk to me. Another language, man. The IC remains cognizant of its statutory obligations. Just about it. The IC remains cognizant of its statutory obligation. I'm talking about one thing here, which is a threat to the Prime Minister. Statutory obligations. And then him go over to talk about the mandatory nature of the tabling, not seeing the whole thing, of the tabling process. So I'm trying what the Prime Minister by talking about remains cognizant of the statutory obligations. And then him go on with him out of orderliness and remind the Parliament, or trying to remind the Parliament that there's an obligation for the to the tabling process, where the Parliament have an obligation for a particular time to table or a process, according to him. I know how I read now, but I know when me I read. Then him talk about his anticipations. Then Mr. Beresford go on to tell the Speaker about his anticipations. I'm anticipating that we're going to do this quickly and move forward quickly with the table the thing. Now, the Parliament get this the 7th of May. And everybody having a fit about it. And how rank him is. And yeah, we're in rank. How about this? How about the fact that he wrote this to the Speaker of the House on the 7th of May? I should not address him. How about that? How about that? To say, dear sir, dear you piece of crap, I understand what you're saying about the court something. But let me remind you that I'm the Speaker of the House and this is the Parliament. And when we table things and defer things, we do so as we see fit because we are the authority. We are the power in this Parliament. And if you send us something, I will defer it as long as I want because I'm the Speaker. How about that? Answer that little piece of shit. Put him in a damn place. Why would you keep making them walking all over the Parliament? Why? How could he write a letter like this to the Speaker of the House like him in charge or something? Like him is the House Speaker or like him is a bigger Speaker or the senior Speaker. We ought to be careful. We ought to be very, very careful about how we allow these things to slide. Because it's a build-up of these things that's going to destroy the entire thing. But we have some plan. There's no one who will take to tear down on its head. All right, then if I got to not let me know so we get us jam or join, whatever we need to do to tear it down on its head. You know the Parliament for mash up. What? What exactly is the game plan? And nobody come tell me about who don't have a plan and I know the Prime Minister like to keep things close to him chest and all of that. I don't want to hear that crap. That's foolishness. This is the Parliament. This is the House of Parliament. The King of England, Charles III, is the head of that Parliament. His representative is the Governor General. The Speaker of the House is his second representative. What's wrong with you? I want to have this little piece of dirty man. I write letter to Parliament, I come tell you what, when I send something to you from March and you keep it and you don't want to table it and then me no business with it when I send to you, but then I get my business now because I sent it to you and I want to remind you that are me in charge of statutory deductions, and we still are looking to your husband's statutory deductions. I want to remind you. I don't know what I'm going to say, but that means there's no need to do that except for one. No need to put that line except sending a threat to the Prime Minister of the country to make him know, say, yeah, we still got you on the radar. Well, you know what? Craig Beresford and Panton and Matalan and the rest of it, yeah, we got to the fuel radar. Matter of fact, we never put on it. So, I don't know about, look like we never put on food, but we anticipate, I don't know what, so we don't put on food. We stuck up over here, so we got some long range missile, not funny. We well stuck up. Threat. This line is a threat to the Prime Minister through his wife. Because that's how they're thinking about it. This is not just something when say, more reminder say, we still have responsibility for it. That is not it. That no. No, that's not that. It is me reminding you that we still have up on the radar. And we better take it serious because we have up on the radar. And this is a face the piece of crap, man. Know that he can get away with it. He knows. He write it from the same time the speaker and said, not put him in place at all now. The speaker don't put him in place at all now. I know he don't get put in place. I know the parliament don't drop him. That's how we are chatting, boy. Who you talking to? I mean, not in that language, but who you chat to? People elect me. Nobody elect you. But people elect me. People elect the speaker, the good people of East West Central elected her. We, the people of East West Central we elect Andrew Holness. And we elect him, you know. And Jamaica elected him. And we, West Central Andrew elected Andrew Holness. I only decided that we're not going to bet this little piece of shit, man. Sending all of this. I want to take it and hug it up. I think it's a good thing. How is that? How is that? There are, indeed, without a shadow of a doubt, there are several more things for me to share with you, but not going to do that again tonight. Not going to do that tonight again. But I want to close it off. That the speaker and the parliament must start act like people elect them and start behave like on the family sending them there. On a friend them get together and sort of go on up there. People elect them. And right now the parliament is in public disrepute. Right now the parliament is under a shadow of nothing but rabble-rousing disrespect, out of order behavior. Everybody are do their own thing. That's a parliament now. I want to remind you that that is what the parliament has come to, a dolly house, where any little piece of crap can come in there and chat any little piece of crap. And just for you dunce people, I come talk about she make Terry Lang talk in a Spanish. Yes, she did. There is a process. Nobody is not saying that Nikisha Burchell couldn't give her speech in Spanish in Patois. But when she got up to do it, it wasn't her intention to give the speech in Patois. No, it was her intention to provoke the speaker to follow her sick line of obsession. It was her intention to provoke, not to get, because if she wanted to speak in Patois and she got up and the opposition leader of the house could say, Madam Speaker, Speaker Burchell, Member Burchell is requesting, or she could have requested, Madam Speaker. She have to request it. She could have said, Madam Speaker, I am requesting of you permission from you to give my presentation in patois and sit down and let the speaker consider it. Sit down and let the speaker consider it. I said, no way that the speaker would have said no. No way. You could have said, I want to do it because we are promoting the use of the patois. No, Mark, I've been doing that because I want to seem like if he's not a tourist. I want tourists to come down here and learn the language and more everybody to say the same thing. She could have said that. What makes you think that the speaker would have said no? The speaker, if she had asked and the speaker said no, the speaker would be under peer fire. She would have said no. How could she? If you had asked, if you had shown the respect that you needed to show to the speaker. Every single one of them in that house, the only person on their ranks that depart the house and is Dennis Gordon. Every one of them leave the parliament in the midst of something, but never ever bow to the speaker, as is required of them. None of them, they don't think, them should only like a bunch of people, put them in a parliament, and them now obey the rules and regulations that them telling you how to road that you should obey. How could we believe that? Dawson did organize people for block the prime minister from passing. Why should we elect him? Why should we expect him to bow his head when he's leaving the chamber of the house and the speaker is sitting in the chair? Why should we expect him to do that? Why should we be down there Black Road and get a road and chat all kind of crap and walk around with microphone and video? What else did you expect from him? And she, who has spent her entire life sleeping with emotionally unavailable men and built her entire personal life around that space, and now targeting the prime minister as her next fixation, she was telling about them. How can you PNP people call me about, boy, we never expect that from them? What the hell is wrong with you? You never expect that? We told you not to elect this bunch of people. How we did? We told you, like we think so we carry some grievance of people. We never carry a grievance of Mark Golding. We never carry a grievance of Peter Monty. We never carry the grievance of the pedophile. We told you because of what they did. We told you because of how they structured, organized them ascent to power. So we knew. That's why we were telling you. But you decided that you may let them anyway. So how can you be complaining when we were hoping that you would have changed Mark Golding early before the elections? Early. I don't know. We are calling and make nice and go out that kind of things. But we never know. I want to shame. Jano. How could you not know? Did you not listen? How they got power, what they did to get the power, what they did when they get the power. How could you not know? What else you needed? Oh, maybe you needed proof. Yeah, that's it. See that now? I prove that you have elected a bunch of people to go to parliament, then fight for God. And you must now ask yourself, how did I let these people to go into the parliament and yet them now going there, go behave the way they should? That's the first question you should ask yourself. Sure, no. They're supposed to do a voting in front of their speaker. Yeah, man. Sure, know that why they're not doing it. You know, some never know them to do that, Karen. May I tell you, some never know that. So that's one hand. And the next hand is a parliament that refuses to act in the best interest of the country. Regarding Nikisha Burchell and the speaker, there are no sides. There is just one side, and that's the speaker's side. She can never get up or go in public on any platform and say to the public, the speaker is not carrying out the standing orders. You can't say that. No deal. None of them can. They have never been asked the question either. And those who have law degree like Dean Jackson Miller don't see that point. The speaker is inflexible. That is why, or because of this, that happens because the speaker is inflexible. That happens because the speaker not given no leeway. Then the people can't get leeway. In any case, the speaker at least figure that out. So you can't give them no run. But she letting them off scotch-free at our expense, at the expense of the integrity and sovereignty of our parliament. She letting them off scotch-free. This is a democracy matter, and yes, it is. Democracy is not free. It's not free. It always costs. There's blood to it. Always, every time. There is quarrel, there is fights in order to maintain what semblance of what we call democracy. It is not even perfect. But Churchill said it best. It's not a perfect system, but it's the best so far until we can find something else to give poor people power. That's what Churchill was saying. This is it. This is it. There's a power. There's a parliament. What you said. What you said. That Nikisha Merchant has a side. She has no side. She's just a floozy. She is just a sexed out floozy that believe that she can do anything she wants. And she believed that because some people in South St. James decided that and them she them want to them MP. And she nice and wonderful and naked all the time. And breast out all the time and lip out all the time. Yo, she better watch. She better get a security officer or watch herself. And we should already, but I'm saying, in this country, one day somebody might just grab her, right? Yeah. I'll talk to you another time about the other things. But I want to close by saying talking about the unfortunate death, very unfortunate, of Latoya Budgen. I have not been able to bring myself to call her wife. Can't remember that call. It is sad, very, very sad. Based on the fact that we don't hear open eyes anymore, Mr. Chang and whoever the member of parliament is for that side and stuff, based on the fact and truth, who's a councillor, that we're not hearing much noise about it, I am going to make an assumption that all the powers that be and everybody involved are having conversation, privately, meaningful conversation about that unfortunate incident where Latoya got killed by the policeman. I'm going to assume, that progress is being made for restitution, for grieving properly, for just hanging out and be there, that kind of thing. I'm assuming that. Because if that now go on and making a crucial mistake, really, that, be there for her family and her friends and the community. Apologies, private, quiet, help, private, quiet. And I also hope that the policeman can seek mental health. Problem is his thing. Maybe I can't wrap my head around it. Everybody see what they want to say. And it is what we say. But my first thing is never just what everybody say. I have to look where some people not going to look. He fired a shot and he stood there. Nothing. Emotion, no, before him actually move or somebody says something to him. I don't know. For those who seek justice, Justice is always elusive for those who can't afford it. It is a elusive thing. I know you're seeking justice, but justice is also an abstract thing. It's justice. Everybody wants justice. It is an abstract context, and it's only available to those who can purchase it. So when these things happen, don't go to talk about no one justice. That word that way. Truly sorry about that. Truly. Um, the things that we tell ourselves as human beings, or as people who witness these things and see them, the after effect of them, the things that we tell ourselves to comfort ourselves, to make us sleep better at nights, are not always usually the things that are realistic and workable. Sometimes we ought to just accept it for what it is. Sad, unfortunate, truly. Whenever it's one of our own, whenever it's close to home, relative, friend, family, community, when it's us, we want the neck of every policeman. When it's us, because it's close. I just said to a lot of our friends and we talk about it, but I understand. Don't live in the past. A lot of I was not going to live in the past. So move on like that, yeah. Unless you depend on some kind of cause. That is that with that. And I also hope that the police officer gets some help. Not crucifixion. Not, not crucifixion, please. Just some help that will help him to be able to talk to the very same people that he has caused grief to. Enough help to help him to accept responsibility and then get some help and continue to do his work, his job. So there's that, there's and there is Colleen at Papine, man do him the flu, then him just dead quickly. I'll rejoice about that, don't we? Because that not close to us. He's not no relative of ours or no friend of ours. And Colleen is a decent human being. I've known her for a very, very long time. We had many, many fights, she and I, at Region 3. That's a quarrel. Region 3. And nobody deserves that kind of, I am telling you. But him get out quickly and celebrate that. To know, say the government and the country, the security forces not going to tolerate somebody doing something like that and get away with it. And if we're willing to do that, we should do that for the parliament as well, where people just don't get on with nothing anymore, and we get them to understand that it's a country of order, and the parliament can set the stage for that, set the example, set it up properly, let the country soon discipline these people. Everybody, including Greg Beresford. People know. I really can't better go for it, but I don't know. Why would you receive a letter like this from this little piece of shit? this little piece of crap, man, that nobody in this country knows. Because nobody know. They elect him to do nothing. And most people believe that what he's doing is just running after the prime minister, witch hunt, and going after people. Why should we tolerate this from him? I'm going to start out in glasses here. Watch me and him. Why should we tolerate that from him? The parliament have to do something. I'm tired now. I really am. No, I'm not tired, but tired now. Because oh, you're tired. We have some more things to discuss, but the next time, not going to do them. That them. Not those tonight. So I'm going to close it off now. I thank you and bless you all. All right? I must tell Jesus. Let's tell him all of my troubles. Lord, I cannot bear my burdens alone. In my distress, I cry to my Savior. Jesus will help me. Yes, Jesus alone. Sing it with me now. I must tell Jesus. I must tell Jesus. Lord, I cannot take my burdens alone. I must tell Jesus. I must tell Jesus. I cannot bear my burdens alone. It was great having you all. Thank you all for staying with me through all of this ranting and going on and carrying on. God bless you, every one of you. Stay safe, everybody, please. And do keep our children safe. All right, good night. Boop, bop, bop, bop.